Hi everyone, welcome to another week's video. Today I have a nice little package I just got in the post. I got myself some new handmade watercolors from Hungry for Paint. I have shared previously here on the channel other sets of watercolors made by them. They are very nice, different color palettes. And this time I got attracted by this particular color palette I'm going to show you, inspired by Japan. And yes, very excited to try those. So these are the things that came in my envelope. You have the thank you note from them. And then here you have a little card with tips for best using your handmade watercolor. So it says that if the wrapper sticks to the paint, to put them in the freezer for 5 to 10 minutes before unwrapping, and adding a drop of water on top of the paint and let it sit for a minute before start painting. Don't store the paints wet to prevent mold, and air bubbles, cracking are normal occurrences in handmade watercolors. So let's open this, shall we? I'm very excited to see those. I'm gonna open them out of camera because I don't want to annoy you with the paper bag noise. I'll be back soon. So here are my 4 colors. We have Sakura Mochi, Melon Pen, Matcha Latte, which by the way I absolutely love. I'm addicted to matcha latte. I drink as much as I can. And Umeboshi, which I'm not sure what it means, but I'll maybe check it out and put here while I'm editing the video. So I have also some samples of new palettes coming. We'll have Enchanted Forest. I think this has been released already because it says coming in November, so I guess it's from last year, this. And this one is coming in May, so it's a new one. It's called Rose Garden. You have Thorns and Dusty Petal. Ooh, this looks promising. Very curious. Looks like it has some metallic particles as well. We'll see when I swatch those. So I'm gonna unwrap them now. So I'm back. As you can see, I unwrapped all of my pens over here, no problem whatsoever. I also added a drop of water to the paints and the samples while I was writing the names. Here I took the little tip card and used it as a frame here to do some color mixing and see which type of colors I could get with the ones in the set. And also added here the little samples and a flower that I'm going to paint with these colors to see how they behave. So let's start swatching, but don't forget as well to give me the thumbs up if you like this video, and follow me if you haven't been doing so already. It really helps the channel and I really appreciate it. So let's start. I'm going to start with this yellowish green called Melon Pen. I really like this type of greens. So I'm gonna do the colors in the diagonal, and then I'm gonna mix them in different ratios over here on the other squares. So the first one we have Melon Pen. Actually, Melon Pen. It's a beautiful yellow green. My swatch is a bit out of hand here. I have a lot of light coming from the skylight, so I was having trouble seeing what I was doing. Very beautiful color. Now let's swatch the green Matcha Latte. Beautiful. These ones are more on the opaque side. You can see they are very creamy, but what I think I'm going to do is to mix them in this quadrant here, and here I'm gonna use them diluted to see how they look with more water. I hope the light is okay, is not reflecting on the wet paint, but in any case I'm gonna show you close up as usual at the end of the video once they dry. Now we have umeboshi. Looks like a type of wine red color. Wow, very rich, beautiful. I like because it makes the set more versatile by having light and dark tones and medium tones. I would say this green is more of a medium tone, but it's always good to have a very dark color in the set for contrast. And last but not least, we have Sakura Mochi. Is this type of vintage rose or mauve muted pink, and it granulates from what I see here. So we have a variety of textures, like from creamy to granulating. We have different colors, and you have also different tones or shades. Very nice. So now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch the samples, and then I'll use the tray to do the mixing here. They'll give them time to dry as well. So the first of the samples is Redstone. This is from the set Enchanted Forest. It's very rich as well. Quite similar to the umeboshi, but more, this looks a bit cooler than this. I'm gonna try to dilute it a bit to show. Wow, it's very, very rich. I'm having to remove a bit of the pigment to get the diluted color. This is something I like about these paints, that they are very rich, so you just need a very little. You see here, this is just a sample dot, and look how much pigment I get. Now we have Arboreal, a green. I love green, so I always like to swatch greens. This also is very pigmented, so I need to clean my brush. And in case you are not familiar with Hungry for Paint, these are made by Aga in Poland. Very beautiful green. Look at all the granulation. Not sure if you can see, but there's already some texture showing here. Now I'm very curious about these new ones that are to be released this month of May. Oh, that's a nice dusty rose. Also, I would say this is an opaque color. But you can easily dilute it. And last but not least, we have thorns. I wrote thorn here. I need to add the S. Yes. So wow, nice warm green. I love warm greens. This one also seems to have some granulation when diluted. Really, really nice. So I'm gonna remove my samples here so I can have space for mixing. And here we go. First we'll try melon with the matcha latte, which won't be a very abrupt mix because both colors are yellow greens, so it won't change much. But let's add it here. And now that matcha latte is drying, I can see there's texture, which is very interesting. Let me mix a bit more of matcha here. See if I can darken a bit. That's what is interesting about colors that granulate. Sometimes they surprise you when you first put them on paper. They don't look like much, but then you get the surprise as they dry. Now let's try melon with the umeboshi. That will be an interesting one to see. Very little because this is a very rich color, so let's see. You get a type of ochre, creamy ochre. Or even kind of a creamy raw umber, maybe even more umber than ochre. I'm being careful here not to let the wet paint touch so they don't mix. But usually I'm a bit more precise with this type of exercises, but today I'm going a bit off the rails, I see here. I hope you will get an idea anyways of how pretty the paints and their mixes are. Melon and Sakura Mochi. Now that it's drying, it looks more like a green. It's interesting. It looked very brown when I was laying it down, but I can see as it dries, the pigment coming from the melon pen is coming up to the surface, so it's turning into more of a green. This is a very interesting mix as well. I don't know how to describe. It's a more rosy type of earth tone. Very nice. And because I assume all of these mixes are not single pigment, they have multi-pigments. When I dilute the mixes, you can see some color separation, so that's interesting as well. I can definitely see here in this mix. We have matcha, umeboshi, being careful not to overload the matcha because the other color is very, very rich. That's a brown. At least it looks like a brown now. We will see when it dries. Now we have matcha and sakura mochi. You can notice that the mixes with the melon and with the matcha are quite similar, which is not that surprising because they are very similar toned. Only matcha, like I said, has texture, melon doesn't. And now the final one is umeboshi and sakura mochi, which also won't be a very surprising mix because they're also in the same color family. You basically get a more textured, darker tone. I always like to do this exercise of color mixing with a grid when I get new paints, because you never know, sometimes you find out some unusual, unexpected mixes that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise. And I keep them for reference later. I take notes of the mixes that I really like, the effects. So here we have the color grid for this set. as you can see, greens, browns, taupes, and pinks. I think it's very good to paint flowers and nature from the tones, as you can see, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm gonna put some music. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see it better, and I'll be back when they're dry. I'm back. All the paint swatches are dry now. Also the flower I painted before. So I'm gonna show you the close-up. So these are the 4 colors that come in this Tokyo Dream set. I really enjoy painting with them. The matcha latte and the sakura mochi are the ones that have a bit more texture. This is a very rich kind of burgundy brown, very lovely, that makes very nice contrast to the melon pan. And I also enjoy mixing neutral tones here with the 2 greens and the 2 the brown mostly and the pink. I found they were very nice neutral tones, and then I used them to paint. I hadn't drawn previously this branch, but I like the neutral tones and I already had them in my palette, so I decided to use for painting this branch over here. I didn't have any specific plan when I started painting. I just tried to use the colors I had mixed with some different techniques, wet on wet, wet on dry, exploring a bit of the texture of the paints as well. You can see here in the branch a bit of the granulation from the mix I had done with the umeboshi and the matcha latte. And yeah, here you have the samples as well. The thorns are more of a warm dark green, and arboreal reminds me a bit of cascade green. It's like green with some speckles of blue. It's interesting as well. And we have redstone and dusty petal that are also kind of in the same family, this type of brownish roses. So yeah, really enjoyed the little samples. The set is nice and is gonna complement the colors I already own nicely. So I hope you enjoyed this little swatching session with the new Tokyo Dream set from Hungry from Paint. I hope you enjoyed my demo as well. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!